today's important news. Supreme Court to hear pleas on July 10th with respect to Bihar electoral roll revision. The Supreme Court agreed to hear urgently a batch of petitions challenging the legitimacy of special intensive revision of electoral rolls being conducted by the Election Commission in Bihar, which is going to have polls very soon. Particularly, most of the opposition parties are against this process where the Election Commission of India is telling something different in the advertisement given in the newspapers in Bihar with respect to the registration, and it is giving something different in the guidelines. People are confused, and opposition parties are saying that it's an aim to bid and to eliminate crores and crores of voters from the electoral list. So it is something they are making mockery of democracy. So the opposition parties are against the special intensive revision of Election Commission of India with respect to voter electoral rolls in Bihar. The Hindu paper editorial today also speaks about this. The Election Commission of India's special intensive revision of electoral rolls in Bihar, while touted as a smooth process with the significant form submissions, it is completely riddled with contradictions and poses a serious threat to the voter enfranchisement. Despite claims of progress, with over 11% of the estimated electorate submitted forms, conflicting statements from ECI highlight the deep-seated issues. Initially, the CEO Bihar, through advertisements, suggested a lenient approach towards electorals who did not have the stipulated 11 documents. They were told that they could submit enumeration forms to booth level officers and provide documents later, or even get verified without mandatory documents, with verification through local investigation by electoral register officers. However, Chief Election Commission clarified that earlier orders mandating document submission by 25th July stand, with the claims and objections period from August 1st to September 1st for those who fail to comply. So, in the advertisement, the Chief Electoral Officer Bihar have shown some lenient approach where they can approach booth level officers and can submit certain documents later. Even if the voters do not possess the documents required, verification process can be done by local area officers. But again, the guidelines given by Chief Election Commissioner says that all the document submission should be completed by July 25th and August 1st to September 1st, claims and objections. So, this might give a chance of misuse of the entire issue by the Election Commission, and ECI should have approached a more pragmatic approach by accepting more universally available identity documents such as Aadhaar, ration card, MG Narega job cards, etc. But ECI is asking 11 important indicator documents like birth registration, school enrollment, broader documentation. All these things is very difficult in Bihar because many in Biharis do not go for schools, birth registrations, all these things. So instead they should have asked Aadhaar, MG Narega job card, other things. But ration cards, all these things. But they are asking different documents like schools documents, birth registration documents, and Bihar also has so many hurdles with respect to these documents as people do not maintain all these documents. For that reason, there might be a chance that many will lose their voting rights and enfranchisement rights. So, special intensive revision. And also, the opposition parties are arguing that the special intensive revision was taken by the Election Commission of India without prior consultation with the political parties and would have been employed to justify aggressive and opaque revision electoral process. So, particularly, this special intensive revision process violates RP Act 1950, Rule 21A of Registration of Electoral Rolls 1960 and other important legislations. Opposition parties are highly concerned about this special intensive revision. Coming back, Modi ji attended BRICS summit yesterday in Brazil. India will give new form to BRICS in 2026. India prioritizing issues of Global South during leadership in G20 in 2023, and India is ready to take BRICS forward in the spirit of humanity. And in 2026, New Delhi is preparing to take chairmanship of the BRICS. India is preparing to take the chairmanship of BRICS. India will attempt to give a new form to the BRICS next year, said Prime Minister Narendra Modi in his intervention at the grouping summit in Rio de Janeiro on July 7th, as the Indian side prepared to take its leadership from current President Brazil. So, from Brazil, the BRICS leadership is coming to India. This is very important news. India is going to chair the next 1 year the BRICS. Under India's BRICS presidency, we will work to define BRICS in a new form. BRICS will mean building resilience and innovation for cooperation and sustainability. Building resilience and innovation and cooperation to promote sustainability. Just as during G20, we have prioritized the issues of Global South, similarly, in BRICS also, we will have people-centric approach and humanity first. Now, Modi is expressing his interest with respect to BRICS presidentship. Next important news is coming up from Donald Trump. US President Trump has threatened China, India, and some other world's fastest emerging economies with higher import tariffs, hitting back at BRICS criticism of its trade policies as the 11-nation bloc concluded its two-day summit in Rio de Janeiro on Monday. So, BRICS 11 nations have criticized Trump's tariff policy. Now, Trump threatened the BRICS nations with tariffs, with 10% extra tariffs. So, Trump is ready to impose tariffs on many countries. Myanmar ethnic crisis drives 4,000 people to Mizoram. A battle between two ethnic groups in Myanmar has forced 4,000 Chin people in the country to take refuge in Mizoram. Officials in Champhai district of Mizoram said waves of Myanmar nationals began crossing a border bridge at Jokautar and the Thao River since the gunfights broke on July 3rd. So this is the thing. Jokautar and Thao rivers. So there's between two ethnic groups, there's a conflict in Myanmar, and Chin refugees now around 4,000 have come to Mizoram. So you may get a direct prelims question. Chin refugees are in news. Who are Chin refugees? Chin refugees are in news, and who are Chin refugees? Coming from the south, Nipah virus. Nipah. Actually, Nipah virus is a fatal zoonotic virus. The mortality rate is around 40 to 70%. In 1999, its outbreak can be seen in Malaysia. And in 2018, its first outbreak is found in Kerala. And the Nipah virus, the major carriers are fruit bats or flying foxes. And it seems that in Kerala, 4 or 5 people got infected with Nipah virus, and most importantly, more than 450 people are under surveillance now who got contact. And so deadly virus, no vaccine is available for that. No vaccine is available for that. So particularly Malappuram district, Palakkad, Kozhikode, these 3 districts are affected with Nipah virus, and Kerala government is seriously watching with this. So Nipah virus is an important news that is coming up. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar said that preamble like parenthood cannot be changed howsoever you cry. There have been a lot of issues about the preamble to the Constitution. The preamble of the Indian Constitution is something like parenthood to children. Howsoever you may cry, you cannot change your parenthood. This is not possible, said by our Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar. Our External Affairs Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, set to visit China for Shanghai Cooperation Organization External Affairs Ministers meet. So he is going to China on July 13th, and it would be Jaishankar's first visit to China after the ties between the two countries came under severe strain following the 2020 military standoff along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. The External Affairs Minister is likely to travel to Beijing for talks with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi before going to Tianjin for the conclave of SCO foreign ministers. Jaishankar's visit is taking place less than 3 weeks after Defense Minister Rajnath Singh traveled to Chinese port city of Qingdao to participate in SCO's defense ministers meet. Next important news that is coming up. BRICS nations support India's bid to host COP33, calls for a stronger climate action. Leaders of BRICS nations welcomed India's candidacy to host 33rd Conference of Parties COP of United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change in 2028. In 2028, India might host COP33 summit. So this is an interesting news that is coming up. India might also host COP summit. And Union Minister of State for Science and Technology, Dr. Jitendra Singh, inaugurated the state-of-art Phenome India National Biobank at CSIR Phenome India National Biobank at CSIR Institute of Genomics and Integrative Biology in New Delhi. The Ministry of Science and Technology said that the biobank will serve as the backbone of a nationwide cohort. The biobank will serve as a backbone of a nationwide cohort study, collecting comprehensive genomics, lifestyle, and clinical data from 10,000 individuals from the country. Next important news. India is exporting toys to more than 150 countries. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said. Once dominated by imports, particularly from China, India's toys industry is slowly turning a corner. It is now exporting to over 153 countries, according to our Commerce Ministry. While the numbers are still modest, Indian exports worth $152.34 million in 2023-2024, slightly lower than previous year. So we are improving our toys exports. Generally, we used to purchase import toys from China. Many countries import cheap toys from China. Now India is also buying on toys exports. Russia is paying schoolgirls to have more babies. So in Russia, the TFR is around 1.4. In the Russia-Ukraine war, around 2.5 soldiers died, according to Russia's announcement. But according to UK Defense Ministry's statement, it is around 10 lakh soldiers died. And Russia, fearing conscription, many privileged and rich Russians are going away from Russia and settling down in other countries like Thailand. Now Russia is a crisis. Russia is seeing a severe demographic crisis, and Russia is giving incentives for delivering babies. Not only that, Mother Russia awards are also reconstituted. In 1990s, there is an award called Mother Russia Award, where if a woman delivers more than 10 children in Russia, she'll get a beautiful award called Mother Russia Award. Not only that, 1 million rubles also. 1 million rubles. Now the awards were reconstituted to push for the procreation of more babies in Russia to address the demographic challenge. Not only in Russia, the same challenge is in China, Japan, South Korea, even Hungary, Poland. Many countries are now announcing incentives to have more number of babies. But young generation is not prone to babies. There is a new concept called DINGS, double income, no kids. Okay, child-free policies, child-free lifestyle. So if you have a child, you have young generation feels that it's a burden. The nurturing of a child economically and socially also is a burden. So many of the young generation are preferring no child or single child. So that is a trend that is coming up. Now many countries are encouraging childbirth. Even the CMs of South Indian states like Tamil Nadu CM, Andhra CM, Telangana CM are also encouraging more childbirths in the states.